Man, it is not so bad at all today. We're finally on a stretch where we actually have some decent weather. I mean, it's what, almost middle of May, and we're just now sneaking out of the 60s.
Wow, yeah, it's crazy. Good morning, Patrick. We've got Mario. What's happening? How you guys doing? Happy Friday, Freedom Friday. Marion, awesome. Well, the weather here is getting nice. It's getting warm finally. Of course, we've had just drenches and drenches of rain, but now this week it's getting nice, and they're even talking tiptoeing into the 90s this weekend. So got my boat all detailed. I'm ready to take it out this weekend. Even though it's Mother's Day, I'm going to let my wife know, hey, it's Mother's Day. I want to take you out on the boat for Mother's Day. But all right, well, cool. Hey, thank you. And as we let other people in, we appreciate Charles's time. So for those of you that don't know Charles Boyett, he has been top agent, broker, leadership for over 24 years. He was vice president of Coldwell Banker. Now he is for the last 4 years, he's been with EXP with Sheila Fergeron. They have a huge organization, 15,000, and he's just a great leader and coach and leader. So, hey, Charles, I'd like you to share a little bit about yourself,
Sure.
and then you've got 3 steps to financial freedom today.
I do, absolutely. Well, first of all, guys, thank you so much for letting me spend some time with you today. Tom, thanks for having me on, and appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit with you. Tom hit most of the high points. I've been in the game for just right at 25 years now. When my hair's done, I have some gray hairs everywhere. I like to say every one of them's tied to a transaction. Yeah, I've been in the leadership.
Forwarded to an automatic voice.
Goodness, I've been in the leadership world since 2013 and has served as the vice president roles of multiple large brokerages, and now serve as the vice president and chief operating officer of the Fergeron Boyett group with EXP. And as Tom said, we've been lucky enough and relentless enough to build an organization of about just short of 15,000 agents currently. And so that's something we're very, very proud of. So today, I wanted to just take a few minutes and share a little bit of a little small snippet of a talk I like to give on the 3 steps to financial freedom. I know we all got into the real estate business, number one, because we just love helping people meet their dreams and all that good stuff. But there's probably an element of all of us that got into this business to make a little money, maybe create some opportunities for our family down the road. And sadly, though, guys, I have been in this game long enough that I have seen that a lot of agents never quite get to that level. And we find ourselves on the real estate roller coaster where we're transaction trough, and it's a very discouraging place to be sometimes. But I do want to tell you, there is a way through this beautiful industry and this opportunity that we have to truly take complete control of your financial future. So obviously, I'm just going to jump right into it. Step 1, guys, this is not going to be anything out of the norm. You have heard this before. But the number one thing that we have to do to find financial freedom as a real estate professional is we have to learn how to make it rain, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't mean a light drizzle. I'm talking like a torrential downpour. We have to find a way to create so many leads in our business that we ourselves do not have the time to service them. And so that could be a lot of people. I know they're buying their leads on Zillow or other sources. Or some people just have a tremendous organic network, maybe, civic opportunities, or just your search sphere of influence. Some of those are really productive. And then other people are finding ways to create their own leads through whether it's their own websites, their own digital marketing campaigns, their social media presence, whichever. There's no right or wrong way necessarily on how you do it. I have talked with people that have found success in every one of those avenues, right? It's really just a matter of how much effort you want to put in versus how much cash you want to put in, right? But either way, we have to learn how to create a ton of leads. Okay, that's step 1. And it's going to stay kind of vague for right now, because that itself is a whole 1-hour conversation on all the different ways we can generate business. But after we create a ton of leads, we've got to dive into the second step that's necessary to create financial freedom. And this is actually one of my favorite steps. we have to learn how to leverage personnel. Okay, so that can take on a couple different faces. One, we could develop a team, right? And now not everybody wants to have a big organization, a big team. And so some people lean the way I have chosen to treat my personal production is I like creating a network of referral affiliates, right? Because I want to create so many leads that I now need to place them with referral partners. Okay, so whether you do it as a team or whether you do it as a referral partner, really up to you. Again, you can design your business however you want, but the idea there is really twofold. We want to make sure that we have a way to service those leads, but we're also trying to find a way to lead into the third step. What's beautiful about step two, and whether it's a team or whether it's a referral network, is that we're finally able to start our introduction into the beautiful world of passive income. Right. And that's really kind of the holy grail of this whole thing, is finding a way to generate revenue that's not directly tied to the amount of lock boxes that you're able to open. Because that's if your money's always tied exclusively to the lock boxes you open, it's very hard to get off that hamster wheel. Now, all of us got into the business because we love helping people, but I can't remember that. I doubt that there's one of our business plans that says I want to work myself into the ground for the rest of my life and only stop when I stop opening lock boxes, my money stops. That's on none of our business plans, right? But sadly, after being in this business so long, that's often the path that many people follow, right? So once we create a lead process and we're able to leverage personnel and have others out there helping us open those lock boxes, that's where we've now kind of stepped into that passive revenue. All right, which leads us into number three. Number three is we have to get amazing at the art of agent attraction. Now, there's several different caveats to that. Obviously, here at EXP, we know what agent attraction looks like. We know what that revenue share, that downstream process looks like, but some people may choose to have their own brokerage, right? A lot of brokers are trying to fight the same thing. They're trying to do that, but what I like about EXP is it's kind of like the easy button in terms of brokerage development, because obviously we can lean into EXP as our broker and really focus on attracting agents to us. You know, the beautiful piece about number two, I'm going to take a step back real quick. When we're doing whether it's a team or what I like to do, the referral partners, is that's one of the easiest ways to start your agent attraction process, right? Because I got a little bonus plan, 3 things on how to get your recruiting business going on in just 1 second. But when we have that referral partner process, you know, obviously I like, you know, shooting some referrals to people that are with us in our organization, but I also like using them as bait, right? I like throwing them out there, finding people that are maybe friends and colleagues in the business that I can help generate some leads for, that ultimately we use as a way to draw them into us. So the 3 steps, again, I'm going to keep it kind of broad here because each one of these elements has very deep paths that we can go into. But step 1, we've got to create more leads than we can possibly handle ourselves. That's step 1. If we're always working, you know, creating 1 lead at a time, it's very hard to get off that hamster wheel. So we need to develop whatever your system is. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. I've seen mega successful people accomplish it multiple different ways. Like I said, you can buy the leads, you can have a really robust sphere, or you can create your own campaigns, marketing processes, whatever. A lot of us are using landing pages and websites and Facebook ads. I mean, again, there's no wrong way to do it. But number 2, I think, is my favorite one. Number 2 is a tiptoe into passive income, and I absolutely love that. So now the agent attraction, obviously that's a big piece of what we do here at EXP. Now there's an interesting element, and just to throw in a stat out here, there's really less than about 15% of the agents that are with EXP that actually make a real effort at agent attraction. And it's because it's weird. It's tough. It's right. You know, am I selling houses or am I attracting agents? What am I doing here? But there is a simple way to really kind of get that process going, which is really where I would like to spend most of our time here today. And that is the 3 steps necessary that we follow. So this isn't going to be something that I throw at y'all that I read on a book or we saw. This is literally how we run our organization. And again, we just shy of 15,000 agents right now. There's 2 ways to do agent attraction. All right. There's the concept of attraction, And that's a challenge in itself, right? Because what makes people attracted to you is usually an extremely high production, or well, Tom Davies is like one of the goats here that does it. This guy's creating content left and right? You've got to have enough content out there where people are attracted to you. They want to be a part of your world. Well, sadly, there's not a lot of agents that are focused on that, because most people that are doing content, they're focusing on building their real estate business, which is vital. We have to keep that process going. So most of us end up leaning into more of a recruiting model. Okay. And there's 3 simple steps that we use to run our entire recruiting process. Step 1, sadly, is an interruption call, right? We've got to find a list of people that we're wanting to call to introduce an idea or an opportunity to. I'll tell you just kind of my secret. And it's not really a secret. I like to claim it's a secret, but not really. One of the things I like doing in finding agents that I may be interested in attracting is I like looking for Zillow Premier agents. You know why? Because I know they're willing to invest in themselves. I know they're willing to buy leads. I know they're willing to spend in their business. Now, I'm not interested just in the fact that they're spending business, but here at EXP, we also know, hopefully everybody knows, there's like 5 or 6 different lead gen opportunities right here through the revenues program, right? So those that are spending money already, I like calling those folks because I'm able to offer them a solution that not says they don't have to spend the money, but they can spend smarter money. I have seen many people that are literally getting more leads for the same money through our revenues program than are by buying Zillow leads. Okay. So I like calling those people. So step 1's an interruption call. And when we call those folks, literally, guys, I'm trying to be in and out of that phone call in under 2 minutes, because I call it an interruption call because they weren't expecting us. They're hopefully productive agents. They got things that are going on. All I'm trying to do on that interruption call is whet their appetite enough to see if they've possibly considered a brokerage change, or if they've determined that maybe there may be a better way of doing business than their current broker can offer. Okay, so step 1 is an interruption call. And my goal for that call is not to recruit them. It is not to have them sign our join link. It's simply to set them up for step 2, which is a quick little 15-minute phone call. On that 15-minute phone call, I'm sure we've all heard the phrase EXPing on people. That's not what I'm looking to do on that call. I'm looking to learn about them. And I have this one line that works all the time. Most people will get on that call and they want to say, look, we got this, we got this, we got the other thing. And basically at that point, we sound like every other recruiter that's calling. Okay. But one of the things I like to say is, look, I'd like to spend a little bit of time with you, just truly trying to understand your business, because I don't want to come off so arrogant in offering a solution before I've taken the time to truly understand where your business is coming from and how you're wanting to operate your business moving forward. That one line right there brings the barrier down. They know that I'm there literally just to learn about them.
Could you repeat that? That's money, guys. Write this one down. And this is being recorded. Let's hear that one again.
Certainly. Basically, it may come off slightly different because I don't use scripts, I use frameworks. So the words are different every single time. But essentially, how could I be so arrogant to offer you a solution without taking the time to first learn about your business? So on my 15-minute call, that is all I'm trying to do, is learn about them. But now as I'm learning about them, I'm accomplishing 2 things. One, hopefully I'm helping them self-realize I'm listening to them more than their current broker has in quite some time. I want them to self-realize that. But the second thing I'm doing is something we like to call stacking ammo, right? In that moment, I'm going to find out what is their objective for their business. And write this one question down also, guys. This is powerful. At least it comes off powerful with the information that comes from it. And I'm just going to use Patrick here. Patrick, man, things have gone great for you. Let's say over the next 2 to 3 years, you have just crushed it and you are excelling at your wildest expectations. What does that success look like for you? Right? So in that moment, they usually answer one way. Well, I want to make $1 gajillion. Of course, we all want to make that kind of money. But really, Patrick, what I'm more interested in is, what's that money going to do for you? What's that money going to do for your family? Right? It's like one of my favorite books by Simon Sinek, Start With Why. The quicker we can attach why they're doing this in the first place to their outcome, that is going to help us direct the rest of our conversation with them. So if somebody tells me, well, honestly, I really just want to make enough money to travel the world with my family. I want to be able to give back. I want to participate in philanthropic efforts. I want to do whatever. That answer right there is literally the piece that I hold on to for the rest of our process. That's the piece that really matters. Why are they doing this? So then at the end of the 15 minutes, all I've done is we've learned about them, we've talked about them, and I say, look, I'm going to be very mindful of your time. I promise you a quick short call, and so I'm going to stick to my word. But I'll tell you, based on what you've said, I do think that we have a lot of opportunity to help you elevate your business in the direction that you're trying to take it. And then I use a very important framework. I'm sure we've all heard of it before. If I could, would you? If I could, would you? Patrick had just told me that he wanted to, travel the world with his family. And so I hear you loud and clear, Patrick. So just one quick question for you. If I could show you a platform and a lead generation opportunity, or whatever we talked about on that call, if I could show you a platform that would literally help revolutionize your business and help you get to the point to where you're traveling with your family in the next year or two, is that a conversation you'd be interested in having? I didn't talk lead gen. I didn't talk this. I spoke to his why. If I could show you something that accomplishes your goal, would you be interested in hearing about it? And that framework, if I could, would you, is powerful, because I've taken all the things they've told me and basically repeated it back to them. So it's not my words, it's their words. Which leads us to step 3. The outcome of the 15-minute call is to get them to more of a presentation. Okay. Now, we've all probably seen many of us on this call may have had the presentation done to us. We may have participated in it, and some of us are probably giving it ourselves. But there's 2 mindsets behind the presentation. Obviously, we've all seen the EXP slide deck. I think there's a Google Drive version of it and a PowerPoint version of it. We've all seen the Google or the EXP presentation. That thing's great. It hits all the high points of EXP. However, I've often found that the best way to do the presentation, and just in my experience, is more of a conversation rather than a PowerPoint presentation, right? I always have the slides up on another screen that if there's a question, I can always pull in, point to the screen if we're talking about a particular thing. But where I have found the best impact is really, again, reviewing my notes, making sure we're talking about all the things you're interested in, and hitting the elements of EXP that is going to help them push their business forward. Now, I will tell you, here's a trap, guys. Here's a trap in EXP. One of the things that I love, I live off of it. Revenue share is a very real thing. It's a very beautiful thing. But again, I want you to remember a stat that I shared with you earlier. Less than 15% of all agents actively pursue the downline opportunity. Okay, so while that's something that's very beautiful to me and to Tom and probably many people on this call, because we know it's tangible and we know it's real, to those coming in, it's not as important. Okay, so what I see a mistake when people are presenting the opportunity is they lean too heavy into the revenue share piece. Okay, and often it ends up turning people off because what they were really interested in was stock, 100%, great technology, and maybe even some insurance, right? So most people are interested in the other aspects of EXP before they're interested in the revenue share. And so what I'll do is at the end of the conversation, if we've never really touched on revenue share, I'd say something along the lines of, now there is one more really incredible piece to EXP here, and we haven't really touched on it. And based on the conversation we have, I don't know that you're quite ready for it. I love pushing people away because that makes them ask questions about it. And that's our revenue share program, which is a great way to earn passive income down the road. And I'm going to tell you how this is going to really probably affect you one day. Nicole, after you join us and you are with EXP and I'm sure you're an amazing agent to work with, you're going to be at a closing or in a transaction. Somebody's going to say, Nicole, why did you go to EXP? And you're going to say, well, I went for this, that, or the other reason. And they're going to say, well, can you tell me more about that? Maybe you've only been here for a day or two. And you're going to say, well, I can't, but Tom can. Let me get you on a call with Tom real quick. And so what happens there is Tom, because he's a master, is going to help, obtain a new agent for your level 1. Life goes on, right? Something's going to happen one day. On the 18th of one month, Nicole's going to look at her bank account and there's going to be some extra money in there. And that money's going to smell a little different. It's going to taste a little different. It definitely spends a little different, guys. I promise you that. And so at that point, that's usually the entry point where people start looking into the revenue share process, because now it's tangible. Now it's real. Okay. That's an easier point to have a conversation about the power of revenue share than often is selling an idea that somebody's not really here to hear about anyways. So just be mindful when you're doing your presentations that it's often if we listen in the first part of the, say, the 15-minute call, we can truly find out what elements they are interested in and pitch heavy based on that, not what you're most interested in. Okay, so a quick recap, because we're about 22 minutes in here. Quick recap, 3 steps to financial freedom is number 1, we got to make it rain, ladies and gentlemen. We got to create more leads than we could possibly handle in our day-to-day business. Step 2, we need to learn to leverage personnel, whether it is a team or a referral network, okay? And then level 3 is we've got to get really great at the art of agent attraction. Obviously, that takes multiple status. That could be a brokerage, or you could hit the easy button and do it right here at EXP. Okay, those are your 3 steps. Now, obviously, there's a lot of work that goes into each of those 3 steps, but those are the 3 steps. Now, once we get into level 3, there are 3 more steps that we shared. And that is the 3 steps to generate recruiting opportunities. Number 1 is an interruption call. We've got to make the phone ring. If you're scared of the phone, it's going to be tough to grow, guys. Okay. Step 1 is the interruption call. We're going to try to push them from the interruption call to a 15-minute call, not where we feature dump, but where we give them real time. We lend them our ear and we truly get to know their pain points. From step 2, we are going to deliver our presentation in whichever form you want to deliver it in, but focus on the pain points. Listen clearly in the 15-minute call and deliver a presentation that is tailored to them rather than tailored to what you liked about EXP. Okay, so that was quick and dirty, 23 minutes of just 3 steps all over the place. Does anybody have any questions or anything? Because I want to be mindful of everybody's time today. Any questions or things that I can answer to kind of push you down the right path?
Charles, what's your go-to for like if someone doesn't really know what their goal is, like they don't even have a great clear vision? Like, what are you saying to try to pull that up or get them on that very front end, you know?
Yeah, no, that's great. I ultimately, so one thing I'll tell you, Brett, is I am not the guy that ever slings mud on a different brokerage. Okay. But the bottom line is if they're with somebody else and they still haven't got a clear vision, that in itself is a tall tale that they need to consider another option already, right? So basically that might be where something I say, well, you know, that's completely understandable. Obviously, a lot of people are just getting started in this business. But one of the things I would really want to see you take advantage of is all of our EXP trainings, our fast start programs, and also every Monday or whatever you're offering, maybe we have a mastermind group we can plug you in. We have, you know, different collaboration tools that we can plug you into. So if that's the thing, that's okay. You haven't developed where you're trying to go yet, but that's one of the beautiful things of joining us is we have all these different resources to help you develop that, because one of the amazing things is we don't all have the same goal. We don't all have the same journey. We're not on the same path, but we do have a solution to help you to figure that out. So I would say fantastic. That's exactly where you should be. We will be able to help you figure that out. So it's really just leaning into the resources that you have. And I do urge everybody not to recreate the wheel over and over. We have a ton of great resources with EXP, the trainings, the fast start, the icon programs. We have all that stuff. Lean into the brokerage, okay? Because there's a ton of stuff there. And then as you develop your organizations, maybe one day y'all have a call just like this, where you'll have, you know, 20, 30, 50 people on there where you're delivering the fire, bringing the heat, and helping them elevate. So if somebody tells me they're not sure what their game plan is, I say, fantastic. That's exactly why I called you.
Thank you. That was great.
Anybody else?
I have a different question. And, you know, I've kind of been with this. I love our model and the knowledge sharing that happens in EXP. I believe in the prospecting, but I have so many opportunities that it's like every opportunity takes time, right? So if I call a lead, I can't have a meaningful conversation in 5 minutes. I can't make 20 or 50 calls a day because everybody I talk to is like, yes, please, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? And so my issue is always time of the day. I'm trying schedule blocking. I try to bring other people in. I have an associate, but you know, and she's got a family. So, you know, there's such capacity with the time. I don't want to be a turn and burn agent. I care deeply about my clients. and I work really hard for them, but that is the pressure I'm pushing up against.
Mhm.
I have more than enough quality leads. That's why I don't buy leads. I don't do any marketing, and I want to do that, but I need to service the client and I don't have enough time.
So you're looking at it from the client attraction standpoint.
Yeah,
more
I
than-
mean, I'm in production
Sure.
and I'm like, once I feel if I have a team and my production is solid and I own the mountain, then I feel maybe I can spend more time in attraction.
I would think what I would really look at, Eric, is leveraging systems, right? So again, I'm out of production full time unless it's referral based, but at the end of the day, I'm still prospecting like a madman, just like y'all are. Okay. And right now I have probably 400 and something active leads that I'm working on a regular basis. And so I could not do that if I wasn't leveraging systems, just as you can on the agent or the client attraction side. I would really dive into the power of the CRM, the follow-up campaigns. And I will tell you this, KV Core has some great stuff, but guys, do not use the canned stuff that's in there. Make it your own words, right? Make it feel authentic and genuine, right? There's a lot of stuff in KV Core or Follow-Up Boss or whatever the heck you're using, but the bottom line, it sounds like a robot, right? That's not a way to engage. But if you take the time to invest in your own campaigns, your own follow-up, your text sequences, your emails, yes, that takes some time, but I'm telling you, there's gold in that effort, right? So leverage systems, Eric. That's the thing. Where you're at is the most beautiful place you can be, right? Because you're on the cusp of greatness. Okay, so it's really, you need to dial in your systems. And I was telling Tom on a call last night, at the end of the day, that's what I am. I'm an ops guy. I like building business systems and protocols. That's what I do. So lean in heavy into whatever CRM you're using, if it's KV4 or whatever it is, and lean in heavy with it, because that's what's going to buy you your time, because you can't afford to have every interaction being something you picked up the phone and actually called somebody. There's not enough hours in the day. So you need to layer in the phone calls, but then also layer in your automations.
Got it.
Awesome. Well, Charles, thank you so much. Appreciate it. If anyone has any questions, what's the best way to reach out and get a hold of you, Charles?
I mean, obviously you can call me, text me, but really the best way is I'm turning into a little bit of a social junkie, right? So Instagram and the DMs is where you can find me. CharlesBoyett.avl is where you can find me on Instagram. And if you just search Charles Boyett on Facebook, you'll see this ugly mug somewhere. So Charles Boyett and on Facebook, and charlesboyett.avl on Instagram. And I'd love to connect with anybody that wants to hook up and chat.
Awesome. Well, Charles, thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day weekend. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Charles.
Bye.
Bye.